Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Christmas concert of PUC Symphonic Wind Ensemble. We're thrilled you came here to celebrate the holidays with us. It's a time for a Merry Christmas and some good of our favorite tunes. That piece, of course, is Carol of the Bells, a Ukrainian carol. And for the first part of our concert, we're going to travel the world a wee little bit. We're going to go to England. A piece called A Christmas Day. Christmas Day is by Gustav Holst, a classical English composer, and it's variations on old tunes, particularly a tune that he calls Il Dulci Jubilo. Now he calls it that, we call it Good Christian Men Rejoice, because we sing it in English, he sings it in Latin. I didn't know they spoke Latin in England, but you learn something every day at this campus. And we're going to perform it just as Holst wrote it, only we will translate it into the original language. In English, Christmas Day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. One of my carols is a carol from France called Bring a Torch, Jeanette Isabella. This was originally not a Christmas carol at all in the 16th to 17th century. It was composed with the same lyrics as a dance tune for the Lord. So we get together and dance. But the words are all about the birth of the Christ child. And somewhere around the 18th century, it occurred to everyone in France that it made a perfect Christmas carol. Now, the thing I love about this carol is the humanity of this carol, because it takes place in Bethlehem, and the people know there's a miracle. You know, they say, bring a torch, Jeanette, Isabella. And this is one of these things we learned at Pacific Union College, that the children in Bethlehem were named Jeanette and Isabella. But putting that aside, they call because every child that's born is a miracle. And then this miracle is the greatest miracle of all. And they all want to rush to bring the torch and see the miracle. But you know, it may be a miracle, but it's still a baby asleep. Run and bring a torch, but wake the child. Run! Don't wake the child. The most human of all the great hymns, this Bring a Torch to Isabel. We're going to do a version for you that has much less of the rush and much more of the hymn. It's the quiet, the hush. It's a lullaby version of this beautiful song. And they titled the song Chanson for Christmas. Chanson simply means a song. So you could call it Song for Noel, but only if you're bilingual. Here it is, a Chanson for Christmas. As we travel around the world, we're going back to the British Isles, and the piece we're going to play is actually What Child Is This? And it's an old English song. It goes back just after the time of Henry VIII. He's credited with the authorship of the original melody. It's not true, but people gave him credit anyway. That was the song Greensleeves. And then the 19th century William Chatterton Dix wrote the words that we all know, What Child Is This? And turned it into a very beloved carol and hymn for the Christmas time. Now we're not doing the English version because it would be in Latin. So we're going to go just north, where they speak Gaelic, and do the Irish version of this song. This is it's a spirited version. We think of this as a ballad, but this is a spirited version, has lots of percussion, and particularly it focuses on an Irish folk drum called the bowdle. The bowdle looks like this. And we happen to have, of course, an Irishman playing it. So I hope you enjoy this. It's called a Celtic Carol. It's What Child Is This? As if we crossed to the Northland. Thank you. The next piece we're playing is O Holy Night. According to one source, this is the most performed Christmas carol in the world. Now, I don't know if that source is Wikipedia or my wife, but I believe it, whichever one it is. I don't know, but if that's what I read on the internet, the source of all facts, true and untrue. But I believe it because it's such a heartfelt and beautiful carol. Now, what's interesting about this carol is so many of the great carols have the music written as anonymous, or we proudly say traditional in our programs to make it seem a little more highfalutin. But so many of the carols are written by people we don't know. But O Holy Night, under the name of Cantique de Noël, was written by Adolphe Adam. And you may not know that name, but if you were in the ballet or opera world, you would. He wrote Giselle, one of the great ballets, and many famous operas. It's surprising he then turned his hand to sacred music, but he actually was a very devout Christian, and this was very close to his heart. It must be to turn out a piece so tender and so beautiful. So we're going to play it for you now, very close to the original, in the sense that it's going to be a nice, slow, beautiful ballad, O Holy Night by Adolphe Adam. Now for a slight change of pace, the percussion ensemble is going to perform. And normally we think of percussion ensemble, we do not think of Christmas carols. But actually it's a gorgeous arrangement by Brian Ness, the director of our percussion ensemble. It's the Huron Carol. And let me tell you the history of this when they're desperately trying to set up all their equipment. The Huron Nation is a Native American nation that's in the Great Lakes area, mostly Canada, right on the northeast corner of the United States and Canada. And a French missionary came to the Huron to introduce them to the gospel. And one of the things he did is he composed a beautiful carol for them, but the problem was that they couldn't understand things like manger. It's not in the culture. So he changed it. He didn't call God God, he called God Manitou, the name of the Huron deity, and then said that the wise men came bearing gifts of rabbit pelt, and I think it was, I can't remember, rabbit something, beaver pelt, I think. And then finally it said there was no manger. They were raised in, he was raised in a bark shack. Things that the Huron Nation could understand. Well, this missionary left, and no European heard the song for about 20 years. When they went back to the Algonquin Nation, they found that they were still singing it. And still singing these words that meant so much to them, but they had changed the melody to make it more like all their other music, until it was truly a Native American song. So the Huron Carol is the first Christmas carol by Native Americans in the 19th century. Gorgeous, gorgeous carol, and we're now going to hear it in a gorgeous arrangement by Brian Ness. Brian? Now, we're going to leave the Christmas spirit for a moment. The reason is we're going to play pat-a-pat, which is the sound of a drum. And everyone knows that if your neighbors offend you, buy their children drums. Nonetheless, it is a Christmas carol, and we'll play it for you. And it's kind of like, this is actually another French carol from Burgundy. And it's a carol that takes place not in the town of Bethlehem, but among the shepherds outside of Bethlehem. And we find out the shepherds' names are William. You learn things if you go to college. You do. And anyway, the lyrics are just ideal because they tell us you'll bring your drum, bring your flute and your fife, they'll bring your drum and your fife, and be merry while you play. And you know, the amazing thing is, we have flute and drum here. So now we shall be merry for you with pat-a-pat, a traditional French carol. That man covers a lot of ground. We're going to switch to some secular music for a short while. And this piece I had to play because when you work with students, there's so much joy, but there's occasional heartbreak. And to me, the great heartbreak is one of the great pleasures of my childhood has never been experienced by 90% of our people on stage, and that is the snow day. You know, you hear the forecast, snow's coming. Your parents are all stuck in a drift and have to be pulled out by the police. It'll be so humiliating. And all you can think about is, maybe they'll cancel school. So for the first time in the school year, you're up at 5 a.m. because you listen to the radio, waiting for the announcement, school buses can't get through, school is canceled. And then suddenly, those of us who just couldn't go out in the cold, bundle up and jump out to make snowmen and snow angels, throw snowballs at each other, and then when we come back, our parents, those poor walk-suffering people, have the hot chocolate and the hot cider on the stove, and we sit with red noses and blue fingertips getting warm. Oh man, and they never get to experience that. Wow. Well, we'll give them a chance to do it vicariously. This piece is called Snow Day Celebration. Thank you. The holiday time is a time for giving, and I don't know how you feel, but I've been given the greatest gift of all. In this holiday season, I've had a chance to make music with the group behind me, playing these beautiful pieces that touch the heart, and they touch the heart as much as the music does. What a great way to say Merry Christmas is to spend the day with these people. I've spent weeks with them. I have to tell you, it's magical. Let's thank them for their Christmas wishes, shall we? Also for me, is, it's not Christmas without sleigh riding. But I have a different view of most people. This piece is, of course, on horse-drawn sleighs, one of the classics of the secular repertoire, but I grew up dreaming of Santa Claus. So to me, this is not a piece of horse-drawn sleigh. It's reindeer drawn, and I'm going to get in the mood. It's Christmas. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Sleigh Ride. Our last piece today is a collection of carols, both sacred and secular, and we're going to invite you to sing along with us. It's one verse of a bunch, and I'm going to try to turn around to let you know when they come in, because they're all connected together, and sometimes hard to know. But if you hear a carol and I haven't turned around, don't hesitate. Start singing. Sing loudly. Enjoy yourself. By the way, for some of these sacred carols, of course, antlers are inappropriate. Thank you so much for celebrating the holidays with us with a great kickoff. You are tremendous. We all say to you, have a very, very Merry Christmas, a safe and happy holiday season, so we can see you next time around. Merry Christmas to you, and sing along, please.